So I'm back again with my 22 450RL, and you'll notice something's a little bit different. I took the Adventure Spec mini fairing off because I'm going to be the only one that tells you this. It makes it sound like your head is in the dryer, and I can't stand it, so I had to take it off. It's honestly not worth the wind protection on your chest that it gives you. But anyways, the reason for this video is I actually put the AIM ECU on today. So I have my map switch here. I've got it on. I haven't really rode it yet. You know, I've rode like maybe a quarter mile up to the spot just so I can kind of do my little intro here. And we're going to see if the ECU swap lives up to the hype, because I am a big proponent of you do not need to put an ECU on this bike. So I'm going to ride it and I'm going to tell you what I think. So I've got it in map 2. This is supposed to be the stock exhaust, like race map. And pretty much right away I can tell it's not as jerky on the on-off as the stock one is. So that's kind of smoothed that out a lot. I haven't really got on it yet, but we're just going to try a little third gear here. Okay, so I mean I could tell a little bit of a difference. I mean it definitely has more power for sure. Is it like, is the change insane? Not really. It does make quite a bit of difference. I know. We're gonna go back down. We're gonna try second and see if it'll power up. So before it was just real snappy. You just kind of snap it and it would jump up. So we're just gonna give her a little and see what she does. Oh yeah. So that's very, very smooth. It's not super jerky like before. You would kind of hit it, and if it picked up, you know, it would be like, oh, am I gonna fall off? No, that's really smooth. That's kind of nice. As far as cruising, let's get up here about 60. I feel like no one ever talks about the fuel mileage, but this thing is actually getting more or about the same as what it was getting completely stock. So that's impressive. So if you have a bigger tank or you have a stock tank, don't expect your mileage to change any. You should still be able to get the same amount of miles out of it. So I'm going to cut in a trail here, and we're going to see how it does in the enduro map. Alright, we're in the trail here now. We're just going to kind of see how it does. We probably have a bit of an obstacle here for the, you know, first little bit. We're going to do the rock. I know before I attempted this when I had the stock ECU, and I stalled it out a couple times because it just was not a fan of, you know, anytime you would kind of bump something, it would kind of stall. And that's what I was saying in my other video, is that if you're gonna ride stuff like super technical, this is probably not the right bike. It is just not a fan of anything low speed. We're in the enduro map. We're just gonna see how it does and see if it's any easier to climb this rock or not. Oh yeah, so it's, yeah, cake. It's smoothed it way out. Oh yeah, I can already tell this thing tractors way, way, way better. It's a little slick out, so forgive me for being slow. I saw my stock front tire on, and it just does not like that slick stuff at all. So I'm going to kind of try to get on it in a couple places and see if it's going to spin. Oh yeah, because I want to play with this traction control. I want to play with this traction control a little bit and see if it makes any kind of difference. Yeah, so she's definitely spinning. Let me stop here and turn my traction control on real fast. Alright, I'm not sure what's up on my button, but I couldn't get it to turn on, so we're not going to worry about it. Yeah, so immediately this thing is much more tractorable. It's not super twitchy anymore, so it's a lot easier to kind of stand and ride this thing, like even in first gear, because first gear on this bike, ooh, first gear on this bike is very long. And there's, like I was saying about the front tires sucking, definitely change that out if you want to ride anything like this. But anyways, so it's much more tractorable. It's much easier to kind of stand and ride this thing even in first gear. Before it would just kind of throw you around. Because first gear on this bike is very long, and when you actually ride this thing on the stock ECU, it's really touchy and it makes it feel super short, but it's not. It's deceiving. Alright, I made it out of the woods. I had to kind of fight out because these tires are not good. The tusk is okay, but the front washes really bad. So, like I said, if you get one of these, you may want to consider grabbing yourself a different front tire. Alright, cool. So I got the traction control on now. I've got it in the race map. Let's just go to second gear and kind of hit it and see if it does anything. Wow. Okay, yeah, so I can kind of feel it, I could feel it kind of try to bite there. Okay, not bad. Let's go back and try that again, but let's switch it off. Alright, I got the traction control off. Just try second gear again. Yeah, so, I mean, I could tell a difference. It didn't really spin the second time either, but with the traction control on it, it definitely tames that initial hit, which is nice. Maybe I should have used that in the mud. But anyways, yeah, it tames it up pretty nice. I mean, you can kind of feel it, you know, kind of kill a little bit of power, kind of try to float the front tire. So it works pretty good. I'd be interested to see, like, if I can play around and if I can get it set on high. I'll have to play with it a little bit more. I didn't read the instructions, of course. Nobody does. All I did was hit buttons on it until I kind of figured it out. Let's just do kind of like a 6th gear, go from about 30 miles an hour. Why? Because why not? There's the power coming on. So you can really feel that thing surge and start to breathe about, you know, 50 miles an hour. I don't have an RPM gauge. I can't tell you what RPM that is, but you know, you can definitely feel a difference for sure. So to kind of wrap up the whole thing, I guess, do I really see that it's worth it? I mean, if you have the money just burning a hole in your pocket and you want to spend it, you know, absolutely go for it. Like, it does make the bike easier to ride. It does make the bike more manageable. It does give the bike more power. But at the end of the day, you still don't need an ECU to enjoy this bike. This bike can be enjoyed in completely stock fashion, and it will do absolutely fine. To kind of reiterate a comment from yesterday's video, you know, it's mainly the rider. Will the bike stall randomly? I've had it stall like once or twice doing a downshift, just kind of going down through the gears, blip the throttle, the bike cuts off. Okay, whatever. But I've never had a situation ever where I thought, man, if this bike had an ECU, I could have hit that. No. If I was a better rider, I absolutely could have done that. And that goes for any bike. Just because you buy the fanciest, best, baddest, whatever, it does not mean that it's going to make you a better rider. Get one of these bikes if you want one. Get some seat time on it. Ride it. Put a bunch of miles on it first before you start modding it. You know, the only mod that's acceptable out of the box is the stock seat. The stock seat is terrible. But it doesn't need anything else. So, remember, if you want one, get it, enjoy it, love it, and ride it. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. So, if you watched all the way through, I really appreciate it. If you give me a like, subscribe if you want to, whatever, stick around. Either later this week or beginning of next week, we're going to do a shootout. So now that I have the ECU on this bike, we're going to compare it to another 450 that's in stock configuration. Head to head, only the ECU being the difference. And we're going to see how that pans out. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day.